during the main session. When you're in the breakout rooms, we won't be recording those, so you can turn on your camera and all that, and you won't be recorded. We may also take screenshots during the session for social media, so just be aware of that. And when you unmute or turn your camera on during the session, you give us consent to use your video and audio. So you may be wondering, who are we? Schulich Ignite is a university student-run club aiming to make learning to code fun and accessible for all high school students. Our goal is to ignite a passion for programming, so it sticks around. So we really hope that by you finishing our course, you'll be inspired to maybe go into computer science or software engineering or something along those lines. So, what is object-oriented programming? Object-oriented programming, or OOP for short, is the next big step for learning how to program. So you know your fundamentals and you're ready for the next step. Object-oriented programming is that step. Let me ask a quick question and you can drop your answers in the chat. Can you name some professions in programming? We have web developer. Any other ones? Data scientist, software engineer, IT analyst. Can we think of any more? That's okay. I was going to say game developer or AI researcher, but I guarantee you, I feel comfortable saying over 90% of all of the jobs we just listed use object-oriented programming. And object-oriented programming allows you to scale. So I've used it in my projects with a couple dozen lines, and it can scale up to 10,000 programmers and several billions of lines. And once you learn object-oriented programming, it literally changes how you see the world and how you approach problems. I'm also currently working as a software developer intern, and I can tell you we also use object-oriented programming at my company. So just to give you a program overview of how these sessions are going to go and what you're going to see. So you'll have 8 interactive and fun sessions. And you'll also have exercises and projects that will help you apply the things that you will be learning. Creativity is highly valued. If you really enjoy making games or drawing or being creative, this will be a great opportunity for you to use those creativity skills. And workshops are meant to give students a hand-on experience with programming, so you won't just learn something and not use it. You'll learn something and then apply it to an exercise or project. So for just a content overview, in session 1, we're going to review and intro to Pygame. Session 2 will be intro to classes and objects. Session 3 will be methods. Session 4 will be methods continued and Pygame sprites. Session 5, you'll be able to make a player. Session 6, make an enemy. And session 7 and 8 will be a build it yourself. So that's where you'll build your own project. Also, just an overview for this session. We'll be going over some setup because there are a few things that you'll need to have on your computer to be set up for success for our sessions. And then you'll also get a chance to meet your mentors and have a little bit of fun. Next, I'm not sure how all of you signed up for our sessions, but our website is a really helpful place to find a lot of information. So you can see all the content slides for our sessions on the website. So if you happen to miss a session, you can find the content on the slides on our website. It also will guide you to our YouTube if you want to watch the recordings. And we also have our GitHub, and this is where you can find and download all the code from our sessions. Now on to some fun things. At Schulich Ignite, we have something called Ignite Points. So these are points that can be collected throughout the sessions to win prizes. And the way you can collect these points is through consistent attendance. So your mentors will take attendance every session, and you can get a streak score. Answering quick question exercises. Throughout the session, we'll teach some content, and then you'll have some quick questions. And if you get those right, you'll be able to get some Ignite points. And then at the end of our sessions, we have every mentee make a project. So the 3 best end of term projects will earn quite a bit of Ignite points as well. Now you may be wondering about the prizes. So the top 3 students with the most Ignite points will either get a $50 Amazon e-gift card or choose to receive 2 selected programming courses. So we have one that's Python for Data Science and Machine Learning Bootcamp, and we also have a web development bootcamp that you can choose from. So there's some pretty awesome prizes, so I highly encourage you to compete for those Ignite points. Now you may be wondering a bit more about the streak score. So you'll get rewarded for consistent attendance. For your first attended session, you get 5 points, but with each consecutive session you attend, you get 5 more points than you did in the last session. And I have an example on the next slide. So say Anna is a mentee who attended all 8 weekly sessions except for session 6. Anna will get 5 points on session 1, 10 on session 2, and so on until 25 on session 5. And she'll get 0 points for not attending session 6, and her streak score will reset. So she gets 5 points for session 7 and 10 points for session 8. So this is a really quick way to add up some points if you maintain your attendance throughout the sessions. And the quick questions. So slides with this icon in the top left corner means it's a quick question and you can get Ignite points. Our quick questions are worth 10 to 20 points each. They're usually multiple choice answers. We'll never ask you to have a long answer for these quick questions. And we'll be using Top Hat for our quick questions as well. And another way you can get Ignite points is through our end of session exercises and weekly challenges. So these are worth 50 points each. You'll need to submit a zipped folder of your program as your answer to the relevant submission form. And the link to that submission form is on these slides. And then lastly, we have an Ignite point spreadsheet. So this is where you can see where you're at compared to your peers. So we have a scoreboard for each category. You can find out how many points you have, find how many points you received for your submissions, and you can find all the rules and frequently asked questions on the spreadsheet as well. You can also read about projects, and the link to that spreadsheet is on the slide as well. And if you have any questions about Ignite points, you can ask us on our Discord using the hashtag Ignite points, or you can ask your assigned mentor. Speaking of Discord, I highly recommend that you join it. You'll have a dedicated channel for your group. So if you, in between sessions, have questions for your mentor, you can shoot them a message on Discord. And if you have any cool projects you want to show off, you can definitely show it off to everyone else on Discord as well. So this slide here is just showing you how to sign up for your private group channel. You should have all received an email with the group number that you're in and who your mentor is. So then on Discord, you'll be able to use this bot command. It's group set, the day, and then the group you're in. So if I was on Mondays in group 3, that would be the command I would use there. Our bot for this is actually down right now, so you won't be able to do this today, but we're hoping you'll be able to do it by Wednesday or the following session. And we also, at the end of 8 sessions, we have a gala. And at this gala, you basically get to show off everything you've learned and your completion and celebrate your completion of Schulich Ignite. So if you make a final project, that's your opportunity to show it off. You'll have the option of showing off your project to just your mentor in a small group or to the entire group who shows up. This is also a great opportunity because we have software engineers from the industry come and you can ask them any questions you may have about working in the industry. And in the past, we've had software engineers and managers from Google, Cisco, and AMD attending and speaking about their experience. With that being said, we can get started. So this is going to be like the setup portion of our session today. So the most important things that you will need is Python and Pygame. So our tools, we'll be using Python. Python's the 4th most used and 3rd most loved programming language around the world. And we will also be using Visual Studio Code. So this is Visual Studio Code on the side here. This is what we're going to be using to write our code. It's an amazing tool that I still use, so I highly recommend that. And Pygame is a super popular Python library, which makes creating games easier. And of course, we're using Zoom right now for our lectures and breakout rooms. So one of the first things we're going to do is check if we have Python installed. So to do that, you're going to open the command prompt on your computer. If you're able to follow along with my instructions right now, I'd highly recommend that, just so we can see where everyone is at. But there will also be time for you to talk to your mentors as well to help you get set up if you are having trouble a bit later. So firstly, we need to check if we have Python 3 installed. So you'll need to open up a command prompt or terminal. So for Windows, you can open the command prompt and type Python -- version. And on Mac OS and Linux, you can open the terminal and type Python 3 -- version. If you already have Python installed, any version above Python 3.7.7 should be good. And if you have Python installed and it's a good version, maybe you can just give a thumbs up so I can see how many people have it. Also, it looks like we got a few. Great. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next slide. But of course, if you're having any troubles, your mentor will be able to help you in a later breakout room. So if you don't have Python installed, you'll need to go down these steps. If you do, you don't have to worry about this. So for Python, you're going to want 3.8, and you can download it from this link here. Once you download from the link, you'll get an installer that will pop up. So you'll just want to run that. And on Windows, you want to make sure you check the Add Python to Path option. So that's this big red arrow and square over there. And you can say OK to any prompts from administrator privileges. And then once you do that, you always want to verify that it was actually installed. So now to check everything that was installed properly, you can run the command prompts that we talked about earlier. So the Python -- version for Windows and Python 3 -- version for Mac OS. I also recommend running pip -- version and pip 3 -- version as well. Now we don't just need Python, we also need Pygame. So I think this might be the one that most of you will need to install, and you'll need to make sure you have pip properly installed before downloading this as well. And you'll have to run the following command: pip install pygame. And then to verify you installed it, you can type pip show pygame. I'm just going to pause on the slide for a few minutes just in case there's some of you following along. But if you have Pygame successfully installed, please give a thumbs up so I know. I don't see anything with any thumbs up, but that's okay because you'll have a chance to meet with your mentor soon to talk about troubleshooting. So next, what do we need? We need VS Code. So it's a popular and lightweight IDE programming tool. I strongly recommend using VS Code as our lecture lead and mentors will be using it. So it'll just be easier for them to show you things and tips and tricks if you're also using that software. If you are deciding to use a different tool than VS Code, you're welcome to. Just be aware that our mentors might not be able to support you as well as they could if you had used Visual Studio. To install VS Code, it's actually pretty simple. You just have to go to this link and download it for your operating system. And then once you have it downloaded, you're going to follow the setup instructions and you'll want to navigate to this extensions tab. So that's the squares that are kind of circled down there. And you'll search for Python. Once that comes up, you want to make sure you install it. So this says uninstall here, but it'll be installed when you first open it. I think now I'm going to send everyone out into breakout rooms so that we can get this setup kind of confirmed. So get that going now. I'll give everyone about 10 minutes to confirm that they have the setup good to go. And then I'll bring everyone back to the main room. Also, please note, if you didn't get assigned to a breakout room, your mentor is Ryan and you'll be with me for today. All right, so the rooms are open, so feel free to accept that invite once you get it. All right, if you're in the main room with me still, your mentor is either Ryan or Michael, who's not here today. So I will be helping you out with any problems. Does anyone have any issues so far? Feel free to unmute yourself or you can raise your hand and I'll start going through.
Yeah, what's the command for installing Pygame on Mac? Just because pip
On
doesn't. Yeah.
It is pip install pygame. Did you try that?
I tried that and it gave me command not found for pip.
It might be different for Mac. Let me see.
Oh.
Did you type pip3?
I'll try that.
Yeah, that probably will fix it.
Okay, it worked.
Awesome. Is there any other problems? If you'd feel more comfortable using the chat as well, that's totally okay. What are you four most excited to learn about in these sessions? You can unmute or drop it in the chat if you want. All right, I think everyone's back in the main room. No, I will give more time a bit later in the session to help with more troubleshooting, just in case you weren't able to get everything done. But could everyone thumbs up if they have Visual Studio installed and are good to go? Just so I can get a general idea. Looks like we got quite a few. For those of you who weren't able to, don't worry, we'll have another breakout room where your mentors will be able to help you. But now we'll go into using Visual Studio Code a little bit. So the first thing you want to try to do is make a folder. So you can click on open a folder and navigate to an empty folder on your computer. Once you do that, oh, sorry, having technical difficulties over here. There we go. Once you have a folder made, we're going to make our first Python file. So to make a .py file, you want to make a new file in the folder you just created, and you want to save it as a .py file. So you can just name it hello.py, for example. You want to choose your .py file, then click the Run button in the top right, and then you should see something like this in the terminal at the bottom there. So if you want to test out like a small bit of code as well, you can write print hello world like in this top right corner. So I'll give everyone a few seconds to try that out. Once you've got hello world printing in your terminal, maybe just give me a thumbs up so I can see. This is a really short program just to make sure everything is going well. And please make sure that your file is named .py at the end so that your computer knows that it is a Python file. Got one thumbs up. All right. This is also something you can get help with from your mentor for a bit later, so no worries if you weren't able to get this done. Just a few things about VS Code. You always want to make sure you save your changes before you run them. Otherwise, it'll run your previously unsaved code. So you want to make sure you save your changes, so you can do Control S or Command S to save them. Any file added to the directory will appear in your VS Code editor as well. So if you add a bunch of files, you should be able to see them in VS Code, and only .py files will run. You can also change your Python version by clicking it in the bottom left there. And for troubleshooting, if you have any problems with your setup, I'll be sending you back into breakout rooms. Does 10 minutes sound good, or do you think we need more time, less time? Mentors, feel free to chime in. I'm not sure how many more time. Does 15 minutes sound good? Yeah, awesome. Okay, we'll do 15 minutes. Just a little checklist for what you should have is your Python installed, Pygame, and VS Code. And if we're feeling ambitious, it'd be really awesome if everyone could get a Hello World program working. But we'll see where the 15 minutes take us. So I will send everyone back out to their breakout rooms now. They should be all open, so feel free to accept that invite, and I'll see you all back in 15 minutes. Menti's still in my room. Were all of you able to get a Hello World program going? I can put the slide back up there if not. Or I can also try to share my screen and show you as well. All right, I think everyone is back from the breakout rooms. Can we get a thumbs up if you were able to get everything working? Awesome, looks like we got a few more thumbs up. One of the last things we're gonna do today before we get to have some fun is set up Top Hat. So I will share the link below. If you don't have a Top Hat account already, you can make one using the link I've sent in the chat. You can also download the app on your phone, whatever way is easier, using the web page or app. And then you'll want to create your account using your first and last name. Please make sure you do this so that we can make sure you're getting assigned your points on the point tracker. And the join code is 474451. And once you're ready, I'll release the first two test questions on Top Hat just to make sure everyone is in. I'll give everyone a few moments to set up their Top Hat. When you're done setting up your Top Hat, maybe just put something in the chat saying done. How's Top Hat going for everyone? You're just making your accounts right now, I'm assuming. The join code is just up here if you haven't joined yet, but I'm gonna open the first question. These are just really simple questions. I can extend the time as needed as well, just to make sure we have people in. Looks like we have 6 in the class who've joined, which is awesome. Oh, 9. For your student ID, you should be able to just enter any number. It won't really matter. I believe we have 12 mentees on the call, so I'm gonna wait until we have 12 on the Top Hat. It looks like we're at 10 right now, so we have 2 more. Last two people are trying to join. Are we having any trouble? Oh, looks like we have 12 people. So if you haven't answered yet, please just answer this question and we'll move on to the next one. I think everyone has joined. I don't know if this last person's going to answer. I'll give you about 10 more seconds. All right. I think everyone's on Top Hat now. And this question, if everyone could answer as well, what are you most excited to learn from these sessions? I have about a minute left to answer this question for those who haven't answered. Great. I'm curious, let's see some responses. How to code a game using Pygame, Python, all the fun projects I create, object-oriented programming. It's really great. Nice. All right. If you weren't able to get it set up with Top Hat, just please let your mentor know. But I think everyone should be okay for now. And we can move on. So now it's time to play some games and have some fun with your mentor. So this will be the last breakout room for the day. We have, I'm gonna say about 25 minutes. So you can do introductory activities, ask your mentor any questions you may have, and play some games in this last breakout room. So for some icebreaker activities with your group, you can do a round of introductions with the following questions. What's your name? What is your favorite smell? And name something about programming that interests you. And then you can play some games after that. Here's just a couple of suggestions. You can do two truths and one lie, trivia, Among Us, Scribble.io. And I'll open up those breakout rooms for everyone as well. If you still need help with your setup, you could also work with that with your mentor as well. So the rooms are all open now. Feel free to accept that invitation. All right, I think everyone is back. So I hope you all had fun and you got to get to know your mentors a little bit better. Just one last reminder before we go, please remember to join our Discord, and I'll see you all on Wednesday for our next session. And thank you for coming today. Mentors, if you could please stick around for a debrief. Mentees, enjoy the rest of your Sunday.